Lesson 2 is two-step equations. So we're looking at this and trying to do two different things. So our first one here might be a little bit different than the way you learned how to do it. So originally you look at this and you think, okay, I probably am going to want to distribute that 9. But here's a better way to think about it. Isn't this just 9 times this stuff? Well, to get rid of that 9, instead of distributing it, I can just divide it. So if I want to move the 9 first, I'm going to divide. Okay, so if I divide it by 9, that means it's going to get rid of it here. So my next new line is going to be -5 plus x equals 7. And if you don't like that way, you're welcome to distribute it. I just don't want to distribute it because then I get big numbers like 45 and 9x, and then I have to do 3 steps instead of just 2. Okay, so now my second step is I need to get x by itself, so I need to move -5. Well, how am I going to move -5? I'm going to do the opposite of it, and I'm going to add it. So +5 and +5 is going to make that go away, and I get that x is equal to 12 as my answer. Number 2, my first step. Okay, so these problems are a little bit different because these are hooked together. So we need to leave them hooked together until the very end. Okay, so we have to move anything else that isn't with it first. So what I need to move is I need to move this. So I need to move the -10. Well, the opposite of moving a negative is to add. So I'm going to add 10 to get rid of it here and add 10 to this side, which will give me my new equation of k over 4 equals 1. Okay, so now my next step is that I need to get rid of the 4, because that's the only thing left that is attached to the k. So it is k divided by 4, so I'm going to multiply to get rid of it. So then I get that k equals 4 as my answer. All right, my next one. Your first step here is, so this one is different because what's attached to the m is this. So on the one before, we had like k over 4. So this was the part that was attached, the up and down. Well, this one, the up and down isn't attached, it's sideways. So what we're looking to get rid of first is this 3. So it's this whole top divided by 3. So to get rid of division, we're going to multiply it. So multiply by 3 to get rid of it, and multiply by 3 over here, which is going to give us our new equation of m minus 6 equals -18. So now the thing that is with the 6, or was with the m, is the 6, so we have to move that -6. The opposite of a negative is addition, so +6 plus 6, which is going to give us our final answer, because that's going to go away, of m equals -12. All right, number 4, our first move on this one. So this one is set up just like number 3, where this is attached to p. So we need to move the 21 first. The 21 is in the denominator, so I need to multiply it to the other side. Okay, so if I multiply it to the other side, that gets rid of it here, and I get p plus 4 equals 21. So now my next step is to get rid of the 4. Well, it's a positive 4, so I subtract it to get rid of it. So my answer then is p equals 17. All right, let's look at our last two on here. Okay, first move on this one. So these are attached to each other, so we cannot get rid of those to begin with. We have to get rid of the 6 to begin with. So how do you move a positive 6? You subtract it. So then 83 minus 6 is 77. So my next line is going to be 77 equals -7x. So now the thing that's attached to the x is -7. Well, how do I get rid of -7? This is held together by multiplication. Okay, so even though it says -7, don't think that that's a subtraction problem. We have to divide this. Okay, so when we divide this, dividing by -7, dividing by -7, so your answer to this is going to be -11 equals x, and you can rearrange that to say x equals -11. All right, our last one on here. Okay, so here's the distributive property method again. What I would say to do first on this is to divide. But let's say you don't like that. Let's go ahead and distribute. It's just going to give us a couple more steps. So I have negative 50 equals 90 minus 10a. Okay, so really there's 3 steps to this equation. So like step 1/2 would be to distribute. All right, so then these are attached to each other, so we can't get rid of the 10 yet. So what we need to get rid of is the 90. Well, how do I move this 90 to the other side? I need to subtract it to the other side in order to get rid of it. Okay, so what that's going to give me is negative 140 equals negative 10a. So now I can get rid of the negative 10. And again, how are those held together? Well, the negative 10 is attached to my multiplication, so I want to divide it. So dividing by negative 10 gets rid of it here. Dividing by negative 10 gives me a positive 14 equals a. And again, I can rearrange it to say a equals a positive 14.